When you're first starting out, I guess, with sourdough, you just have to accept that you suck at first. Don't give in to the negative thoughts. You just have to keep trying. People's problems usually are the starter, like it died, or the bake didn't come out the right way. I think people just are not used to the keeping of a starter. It's a little hard at first because you have to like keep track of all the times and temperatures. It could be overwhelming at first, but once you get into your own groove, it comes pretty easily once you get the hang of it. Again, with experience, you kind of know like, okay, what's gonna be okay, what's not gonna be okay. You're on the starter's time, not your own time, and so you just have to be flexible with it. I think people can usually mix their doughs more than they do. That's actually how I learned, because I'm like, oh, I can push the dough this much and it's still gonna work out. You can really push bread pretty far, in my experience, from all my mistakes.
There was a problem this morning. We put way too much starter in one mixer and not enough starter in the other mixer. Luckily, the problem was caught and we were able to remove starter from one, add to the other, and make it work out. Another issue we had this morning is Harriet overflowed her home onto the floor. So we started the day by cleaning up about 20 kilos of Harriet and cleaning the tank before getting started. So don't overfill your starter tank. Do remember to feed your starters.
So a lot of the jobs that here, about 50% of it is about cleaning your station once you're done. So right now I'm done laminating and I'm just cleaning the rollers out, cleaning the blades. You gotta clean the belt, everything's gotta get cleaned and ready for the next day. You don't have to like cleaning, but you definitely have to get used to it. It's definitely a part of it. You can't have one without the other. You could work in a messy area, but that will make your life a lot harder. The best thing you could do when you're working is clean as you go. You know, that way at the end of your shift, you don't have a mountain of things to clean. It's nice to just get the last things of the day done and head home, you know.
I think the dough smells fear, so you have to be pretty brave. Yeah, you just have to be confident when you work with sourdough because it's really sensitive. I think temperature is like the most important thing with working with bread or pastry, especially in Arizona because it's either really hot or it's really cold, and it affects sourdough so dramatically and it's so sensitive that you have to be on top of it.
So there's many different techniques to mixing or laminating or shaping, and one of my biggest suggestions is to try them all. Sometimes you can kind of mesh some techniques together to find the exact quality of texture and flavor you want to find in a product. It's one of the things that I definitely find the most fascinating about baking is it's never the same. It's always different, it's always changing. Proofing problems is always an issue, especially with the upcoming of new bakers. I've noticed that a lot of people don't fully understand what proofing does and assumes that everything's limited by this time frame, when in reality, it changes based off what you do in your mixes.
Just making dough. My mind doesn't really have much going on when I'm doing this, which is the beautiful thing about it. That's why I like it so much. It's almost like therapy. Take your time. Take as much time as you can. Do it as far in advance as possible. The longer you cold ferment it, the better flavor you get from that sourdough. And then bake it real hot in a really hot oven as quick as you can. If you can do an open flame or wood fire, something like that gives it even more flavor. That's the best way to do it. And then I just keep pizza toppings nice and simple. Do the originals, do what you love the most. Margarita, always amazing. Big thing about sourdough is it's gonna take time, so have patience and just enjoy the process. This dough is really sticky and wet. This is nearly, if not more than, 100% hydrated. What we do when we mix this dough is we have to add cold water first because it mixes for so long so it doesn't overheat. And then what we also do is we have to mix it for a long time to get the gluten to develop. And after that, we'll add in a thing called a bassinage, which is just extra water that you add in at the end of the mixing period while the dough is mixing, so that you can add in more water than you would be able to if you were just mixing the dough. Wet doughs, quick movements. The more hydrated, the hotter you want to bake it, and usually the better the flavor. Don't when it comes to sourdough. Understand it's going to take a lot of time, and that the time that you're spending it's very important to the whole process because you're making a highly superior dough that's going to be easier to eat and all that good stuff. Easier to digest, better for you, better flavor all in all. So what I've learned, especially working in a little bit of a higher production, is that you can't get upset, can't let emotions get to you, can't let the time stress you out in any way. You have to let the sourdough do its thing, or else you're not going to get the product that you desire.
So when I do my discard, I put it in my fridge, and then when I bring it out, usually I'll let it come to like room temperature before I add it. Sometimes it doesn't matter, like I've made like those Dutch baby pancakes, but temperature is key to a lot of discard recipes.
Even though it's a discard, don't discard it?
Exactly. Save it. It's all useful. It's my favorite recipes, is to use the discard.
So right now, I just finished running the mill with our new bread flour, is what we're going to be calling it. And so I'm just swapping out these bins on our sifter right now, so that way I can keep milling more. Yeah, if you want to mill flour at home, I know KitchenAid sells a nice attachment for the mixers, which is a little mill that goes onto it. One thing that I would probably want people to be aware of is when you mill your own flour, you're going to get a lot of bran, which is that wheat shell, along with the flour itself. This will affect how the final dough comes out. So just keep that in mind, that there is a big difference between what you're buying at the grocery store versus what you would mill at home. There's definitely nutritional benefits and other things that come along with milling stuff yourself, but don't get discouraged if bread that you've been making for a long time turns out different when you start milling your own flour. Having a really nice stone mill lets us do a larger amount of flour that someone at home probably, it would take longer for them to do, versus I can do 150, 200 pounds in about an hour, so it's gonna be more efficient for us. We get most of our grain from local farmers, so there's that really nice direct relationship with the community. So grain that's grown by the farmers, we mill it into flour, we turn it into bread for people to buy. We don't currently use the bran in any of our recipes, so we do sell that bran back to farmers as feed for livestock. So there's this nice loop of everything's kind of self-contained within the community, which is really, really awesome.